Legends, James here from Gamma Flare. And mate, Mount Panorama doesn't forgive mistakes. Dry conditions, pouring rain, huge crashes, and a finish that demanded absolute commitment. Bathurst struck early, a major opening lap collision at the cutting, immediately turning the race into a survival contest. Then came one of the biggest crashes of the afternoon. At Skyline, Darren Lobb, Philip Antoon, Jaco Venter, and Vota Bota were all caught in the pile-up. At McPhillamy Park, Adam Hughes ran through the gravel to hand second place to Jensen Bade before Miles Burgess suffered the same fate. Then the weather arrived. Alex Spragg clipped the wall at Hell Corner. Jed Adams spun entering pit lane, and even race leader Fraser Clegg wasn't spared, spinning at Griffin's Bend. The final laps delivered one last twist. Adam Hughes and Darren Lobb, not surprisingly, also found the tyre barriers at Griffin's Bend, while Jaco Venter became another late race casualty. Fraser Clegg held on to claim a superb victory. Josh Thompson charged home for second, with Dan Turner rounding out the podium in third. Next up, GT3 heads to Circuit de Spa, where every lap is a commitment and the weather can change in an instant. If this championship has taught us anything, it's to expect the unexpected. Over to the broadcasting lounge, where the brilliant Wayne and Brandon will bring us all the action of the next battle. Keep it pinned, legends.
Welcome everyone to round number 4 of the SuperCars NZ GT3 Winter Series. After an incredible round at Bathurst last time out, we are here on YouTube, Twitch, and also Sky Channel 83 for Spa-Francorchamps. My name is Brandon Stuck, and alongside me is Mr. Encyclopedia himself, Shane White. Shane, welcome to the broadcast.
Thanks, Brendan. Good to be here. Good to be at Spa. Excited to see 30 plus GT3 cars banging around here tonight. It's going to be an awesome race. I can't wait.
Going to be absolutely fantastic. Going from a track that's iconic with supercars and GTs versus a track that's iconic with GTs and Formula One. Of course, Spa plays host to the iconic Spa 24 Hours, which we just recently had the iRacing version of, as well as the real life version. And also in the broadcast tonight, he'll be doing some pushing of the buttons and bringing us these awesome pictures is Wayne Bloor. Let's take a look at our track map quickly before we crack into some of the race action and some of the other stuff happening in and around the SuperCars NZ community. So here is our track tonight. Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps first opened up in August of 1921, and you can see this is the current configuration. Gone through many changes, I will say, but of course this is the layout that we all know and love today. Any memories for you from this track, Shane?
Oh, so many. I actually first discovered it on the demo for the Formula One 2001 game on PlayStation, and did the 3-lap demo race around here many times before I eventually got the real game. But one of my favourite tracks in the world. Original layout was just shy of 15 kilometres on public roads, very high speed. They created this purpose-built facility for safety reasons, shortened it up, used some of the old original roads from the original track and that little section cutting through the middle to shorten it up to the 6.93 kilometres that we know and love today.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic racetrack this is, and of course a lot of memories. You can go back into the books of history and find just memories from every year. Of course, let's take a look now at our point system at the moment. So points tally up. This is the third time we are getting points paid to this championship, and Alex Spray, you can see there, currently in first place at the moment, still yet to grab a race win, but consistency is key so far for him. Josh Thompson in second, Robert Henry in third, Darren Lobb fourth, Jet Adams in fifth place, Miles Burgess sixth, Lee Swinney in seventh, Blake Greenhall in eighth, Daniel Turner in ninth, and Shane Edgar in the 10. So a few names normally that we see them at the front of the grid, but they're not at the front of this points table at the moment. But but obviously we're still in early stages of this one. We're quickly going to shoot through to a quick little ad. We'll play a couple of ads for you quickly with our Get a Sim competition and an MRP ad. We'll be right back.
Want to take your sim racing to the next level? Here's your chance to win a racing simulator setup. Scan the QR code on screen right now, enter the competition, and you could be racing from your very own sim rig. Powered by GammaFlare and brought to you by SuperCars New Zealand, GammaFlare Sim Racing, and MatchFit Entertainment, with SimBlacks, iRacing, and the Sim Racing Hub. Don't miss it. Scan, enter, and get ready to race. I'm Jess. Now let's head back to the live racing action with Brandon and Shane.
All right, so back here live, of course. Also, a special shout out to GammaFlare's race engineer James for the intro video, reminding us of what happened last time out at Bathurst. So 12 minutes down in this 15-minute qualifying session, we have an endurance race tonight, 55 minutes, 2 compulsory pit stops. Of course, just a reminder to everyone, pits open up 10 minutes after the race starts, and then we close 10 minutes before the race finishes. So need to keep an eye on that. Some pit lane penalties were handed out, here at SuperCars NZ if someone's been a bit naughty. And also just a big shout out to our race control for tonight, Dylan Radford and Peter Vanderberg in race control tonight. No Jono tonight, so we'll see who's driving the safety car if we get one. Well, Shane, we have a big field here tonight, Shane. You know, some usual contenders that we see at the front. So are we expecting a big battle tonight, you think?
Yeah, I think we're going to see some very intense battles there. Alex Sprague just jumping up into P2 as we see him finish his lap time there. Just followed Adam Hughes across the line there too, so a couple of blackout OPR cars going towards the top, but Connor Franson half a second clear in P1 at the moment, but I think it's going to really heat up coming into the race. And while Connor's half a second clear on his lap at the moment, I don't necessarily think that's going to translate into race pace, but we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, certainly well. Looking on board now with Darren Lobb coming up to the back section of the track through Blanchemont, or coming up towards Blanchemont, I should say, towards the final section of this track at the moment. Up towards this very, very fast section here. Does he lift? Or maybe a little. Might have given a little lift there as he comes up to the final bus stop chicane area. Turns 19 and 20. We'll see where he ends up as he comes across up towards the line. Does he improve? Does he go any higher than 11th? Yes, he does. He jumps up to about 8th position so far. So not a bad run there for Darren Lobb. Less than a minute in this one. We look back at Alex Marich in the Mustang. Quite a number of Mustangs in this series this time around. Only had about 1 or 2 last season, but seems as though a few other people want to jump into the big V8 beast that is the Ford Mustang. Alex will be slowly making his way across the line. Doesn't think he'll see an improvement there. Don't forget to also sign up to the Sim Racing Hub for all your news and results of the SuperCars NZ championships that we run. We run SuperCars on a Tuesday night, and we also have Porsches on a Wednesday and GT3s like we have here tonight on Thursday.
Welcome to the Sim Racing Hub, powered by GammaFlare, your one-stop home for everything sim racing. This is where you can sign up for upcoming races, keep track of the latest calendars and events, catch up on sim racing news, and connect with drivers from across the community. So don't sit on the sidelines. Scan the QR code on screen right now, download the app, and jump straight into the action. The Sim Racing Hub is proudly supported by GammaFlare Sim Racing, MatchFit Entertainment, SuperCars New Zealand, the Broadcasting Lounge, SimBlacks, and Sky Channel 83. Everything you need. One app. One racing community. I'm Jess. Now let's head back to the live racing action with Brandon and Shane.
All right, so qualifying is now over. We are about to look at our starting grid for this one. So starting off P1, we have Connor. Okay, I've just been told we're just waiting for the iRacing to tick over. Waiting for the grid to settle into position. Of course, rolling start here for the GT3 series.
Just a standout for me there, Darren Lobb sitting in P8, and through the history of Supercars NZ, we've been used to Darren Lobb being consistently right at the front of our fields, be it in a V8 or a GT3 car. P8 still obviously very respectable, but I think just the fact that that's the best he can manage in qualifying tonight just goes to show the absolute quality that we've got in the league now. Some insanely quick drivers up ahead of him in qualifying tonight.
Yeah, we have some fantastic quick drivers up and down this field. We actually have a few down the bottom that we're used to seeing up the top as well. So going to be interesting to see if they can make their way through. Of course, this is a 55-minute race, as I said earlier. So long race to get around with these GT3 series. Just wait for the grid and waiting for iRacing to take over. Of course, quick shout out to our other sponsors, Gamma Flare as well. So great to have them on board with us in this championship.
Yes, as you say, Brandon, 55-minute race tonight. A couple of pit stops required, and the fuel is limited as well. So they'll have to work out when they can get home on fuel, as well as having to make those 2 compulsory pit stops between from 10 minutes into the race and 10 minutes left in the race. That's the pit window tonight, and they will have to change at least 2 tyres in each pit stop for that to count as well.
Yeah, they definitely would have to. Of course, we're just going to have a look before we get started into this one. We'll have a look at an upcoming event for you. We will be right back in just a second.
The SuperCars New Zealand Triple Crown Gen 3 Team Series is back. 3 endurance races, 3 iconic circuits, 1 championship. Big dollars on the line for podiums with an extra $1,000 in giveaways. Free entry, live broadcast, live race control, and limited grid spots. Choose your teammate. Build your strategy. You have been listening to Jess. Now let's head back to the live racing action with Brandon and Shane.
All right, so back to our live race action. We'll get started on the grid. Starting off P1 is Connor Franson, quickest of the Ford Mustangs. In the best of the Lamborghinis is Alex Sprague in second. Adam Hughes, best of the OPR Gamma Flare boys, starting out of P3. Jensen Bade, best of the Ferraris, out of P4. Ryan Jones, P5. Alongside him is Sebastian Bade, also in another Ford Mustang. Dylan Shepard for OPR Gamma Flare out of P7. Darren Lobb for the Ferrari out of P8. Miles Burgess out of P9. And first of the McLaren's Jocko Fenter out of P10.
Reese Wakefield lines up P11 in the first of the BMWs alongside another McLaren, Sean McNamara there in 12th. Trio of McLarens actually here with Jesse Simpson and Philip Antoon on the 7th row there, 13th and 14th. Robert Henry 15th, Blake Greenhill 16th. Jet Adams is going to line up 17th alongside Kyle Bork. And we've got Matt Priest 19th and Joshua Holmes 20th.
Looking at 21st position in another McLaren is Matthew Gerard. Alongside him is Alex Marriage in a Mustang. Then we have a quadruple of McLaren, Scott Kinder, Vota Buerta, Aaron Goodrick, and Braden O'Loughlin lining up P23, 24, 25, and 26. 27 is Josh Thompson in a Mercedes-Benz AMG, followed by him is Chris Lazuski in 28th. Steve Darren out of 29 in a Porsche, followed by Christian Rudolph Jenkins in P30. 31st, Aaron Timberley. Alongside him is Louis Robinson. And then we, of course, have Braden Lee and Tony Nicholas in 33 and 34. Steve Vella out of 35. And we also have Oliver Footy in just behind him. Sid Benjafer out of 36. Shane Edgar out of 37. And then followed by Stefan Adams and Thomas McCall rounding out the final grid. Philip Anton's also in this one, but I see on my timing screen, him and Jensen Bate are in the pit lane.
Yeah, so potentially a couple of pit lane start penalties handed out by race control there for breach of procedure. I didn't quite catch the race control comms on that one, unfortunately, so I can't give all the details.
All right, that's no problem there. So, of course, if you're new to this series, of course, qualifying is 15 minutes long, but you only get allowed 2 flying laps. If you exceed that track limit, if you exceed the time that you're out there by a lap or more, you will get penalised and start from the pit lane. Connor Franson unfortunately found that out the hard way a couple of weeks ago at Oran Park. So you can just see now the drivers warming up their tyres, trying to get a good feel for what the track is like. It's about half a lap worth of a warm-up lap here for these competitors. But Connor Franson will lead us away, followed by Alex Sprague in the Porsche. Keep an eye out for Adam Hughes, in the OPR Mustang. Very quick. So now the drivers are lined up 2 by 2. The iRacing Porsche Porsche safety car is now in the lane. Here we go. Lights are about to go on. We're about to get underway here. 55 minutes racing at Spa-Francorchamps. Let's go. Connor Franson leads them away down into turn number 1. Watch for Adam Hughes. Going to split the front row as they come through turn number 1. Known as La Source, now down to Eau Rouge and Radion. Bumpers already flying off. Still trying to make their way through. That's how many cars there are. Here we go through Eau Rouge and Radion. Oh, a couple of them side by side. Not too sure how that's going to play out. Still a couple more bumpers coming off. Some of the cars here now down the Kemmel Straight here. Look at Adam Hughes. He's wanting that position, and he wants it bad. Right up the rear of Connor Franson. Alex Sprague has dropped down to 4th at the moment. Through 7, 8, and 9, the Lecom corner. Still looking very, very clean. You can see a couple of cars missing their bumpers. I think that's Robert Henry and the Mercedes might be missing his as they come down towards turn number 10 and into 11. Just see how well they are behaving right now. All single file now, looking for a way through. A couple of them still side by side through Pouon, turn 12. What a start. I mean, this is actually really clean for a Grand Prix track here, Shane.
Yeah, Adam Hughes very racy at the start, putting the pressure on Connor Franson right from the start, splitting the front row. Alex Sprague went backwards there after getting caught on the outside. He's sitting back in P4 at the moment, but ripper start from Adam and continuing to put the pressure on. We saw a bit of drama down there. We did see the incident at turn 1, I believe. That was car 008 called something in there, and I had picked out him earlier, but I've lost him on my timing screen now.
008, that was Jesse Simpson in a McLaren. So that is the one that was called in. Looking back on Connor Franson's car, looking back towards Adam Hughes. Menacing looking Mustang on your rear bumper. So Connor Franson now getting to start, and we have a big off somewhere. Someone's had a big off. What happened at the back? Darren Lobb. He's had a big off. Going to quickly have a look at a replay here now of that one. Here we go. So he's behind a couple of battling away with a couple of the other OPR Mustangs. So coming through into the chicane side by side. Is there contact?
Oh, big netcode.
All right, so unfortunately, but a netcode gets involved, and he rejoins, and there's more spins in the background. I think it was Vota Buerta getting caught up in that one. Robert Henry, you can see they're still missing the front spoiler, the front guard of his Mercedes, and Darren Lobb missing the rear spoiler on that Ferrari after touching the wall.
Yeah,
So
that is going to really hurt Darren around here. He's going to have to go all the way around a whole lap to even get back to the pits as well to get it replaced. And then if he chooses to do that now, it's not going to be within the pit window even, so he's still going to have to come in and make 2 more stops. So that's going to be a big penalty that Darren's going to have to pay for an incident that unfortunately he couldn't really do much about with big net code coming into play there.
Yeah, that's a bit unfortunate for Darren Lobb. Looking forward to seeing what he could have done in this one. On board here with Dylan Shepherd now, racing against one of the other Mustangs there. That is Sebastian Bate. He's having a bit of a battle with at the moment. So OPR looks like they've all gone to Mustangs, essentially, except for Reese Wakefield, who's in the BMW. And it looks as though I think the Mustang might have helped out. Maybe Adam Hughes giving them some tips on how to drive it. We know how quick he can be in the Mustang. So on board now with Sebastian Bade, looking into the rear of Dylan Shepherd, who at the same time is trying to get past Ryan Jones, who is in 4th place. So not a bad start for a couple of our drivers in this one. A couple laps down, we'll take a look at some of the big movers and shakers so far. Shane Edgar up 19 positions into P20 at the moment. Stefan Adams up 17 into P25. One of the biggest drops that we've got here is Jesse Simpson and Philip Antoon down 26 spots. But Philip Antoon, I believe, would have had that little pit lane start. And I don't think he's left the pit lane unless he has now. So I'm not sure where he is. Louis Robinson looking for some moves. Darren Lobb has now come into the pit lane.
Oh, big moment. That's Stefan Adams, I think.
Oh, it is. Now, this is the painful part now.
Oh.
This is right at the start of the race. So he's got to watch the rejoin. Make sure he doesn't get involved in anyone else's way. He's going to wait till everyone has gone past. So down all the way to 35th place goes Stefan Adams. A couple of black flags coming up for Robert Henry and Scott Kinder. That'll be for some damage, presumably.
Yeah, I think I heard Robert Henry issued a drive-through penalty. Didn't quite catch who the other car involved in that one was. And I did see Scott Kinder with the black flag next to his name as well. I had a feeling that might have been for the lap 1, turn 1 incident.
Yeah, would have had to have been. So a few penalties getting handed out. Race control already busy. Looking back at Sebastian Bate now. Looks as though Dylan's already opened up a bit of a gap to Sebastian and is now looking ahead at Ryan Jones. Looking back a little bit more, Sean McNamara, our admin in the McLaren, has Reese Wakefield for company in the back. I'm not too sure how nice it would look if you're in a McLaren like this. You know, you're sitting low to the ground and you see a big menacing black BMW coming towards you. And Reese has picked up a little bit of speed through here. The slipstream's helped a little bit. Not too sure if he's going to look for a move. No, he's just going to tuck it in and wait a little bit longer.
Yeah, he sort of half showed the nose into the chicane there. Thought about maybe trying to distract Sean showing the nose in the mirrors. It's a tried and true technique to just poke out and make the guy think you're going for a move.
Yeah, trying to unsettle Sean McNamara, but I don't know how wise that would be.
Sean always says he never looks in his mirrors anyway, so those tactics don't work on Sean.
Yeah, I think we'll just hear from our producer now. Sean turns those mirrors off. He doesn't like looking in them. So you better...
Good draft,
I don't think you like the view, though. Yep, you're right. Good draft coming up. Here we go.
He's got to see out the front window at the moment. Doesn't need the mirrors. Reese Wakefield moves up into P8 over Sean McNamara. Good move there.
Absolutely brilliant move there. A couple of off tracks happening at the moment. A few cars running wide out of out of the Lacombe corner, out of turn 9. A few yellow flags on our timing tower there. I think we've had a few off tracks happening at the moment in and around this circuit. Looking back here at Ryan Jones in fourth, DPI Racing, Ferrari. You can just see how much...
Matthew Gerard calling an incident. Looks like he's gone off track on lap 4.
Okay, so we're going to replay here of Matthew Gerard. There you go, Philip Antoon's getting involved. Oh, touch. Oh. Big off for Matthew Gerard down the straight now. Now look at all that pacey, all that space, the positions he's lost. Trying to recover that one here on board. Now look at this. Touch. Yeah, that's not going to end very well. And sliding along the wall does Matthew Gerard in the 169. Looking back at our live pictures here at the moment. Matthew Gerard's got Aaron Goodrick for company. A bit further up the field in 13th is Joshua Holmes in the BMW. Pulls out for a move on the inside on Blake Greenhall. And we'll Simi get it done. He's now going to go side by side with him down towards O'Roos and Radion.
And too wide through Rouge and Radion doesn't work. He just sensibly gets out of the gas and tucks in behind there. He'll look to pick up the draft down the Kemmel straight, and it is a very powerful draft if you can get the run out of Radion. Looks to close in up the straight. Not really making a lot of ground at the moment though. And he's just going to have to stay behind a bit longer. So Blake obviously running the slippery wings settings on that Ferrari tonight.
Yeah, maybe trying to, I'm not sure if Joshua, I was going to say Joshua's maybe trying to stay back and serve, maybe use the slipstream to help save some fuel, but he's going for a move up the inside of Blake Greenhall into 10. But not going to make it work. He's going to be stuck on the outside, hung out to dry at turn 11. And Blake Greenhall will keep his position for the moment.
I think what I'm seeing there is more evidence to what I suggested, that Blake is running the low, and actually looking at that wing, that is very flat on that Ferrari. So I think he's running the low downforce setup tonight. And it's always a tough one as to which way you go with that at Spa, because there are some very long flat out sections where you do need a nice slippery car, but there's also plenty of high and medium speed corners where you could use a bit of downforce as well. So always a bit of a balancing act, deciding where to set your wing, and it looks like Blake has made it very slippery in a straight line and just struggling a little bit compared to Josh Holmes there in a straight in the corners, sorry, but having enough down the straight line to stay ahead. Josh thought about the move into Blanchimont. That's another corner that doesn't work too wide, and he thought better of it. Does he show the nose down to the chicane?
Well, big dive.
The inside.
Big dive from Josh Holmes. And he's gonna get the move done out of the chicane.
Yeah, that was...
might try and retaliate on that one.
That was nicely done. It's a tricky spot at the chicane. Obviously, with it switching back to the left, you have to make sure you get it done and don't allow the opportunity for the car to come back up the inside into the left-hander part of that. And Josh did a great job to make sure he had the momentum exiting. But Blake's got that slippery car, and he's going to have the draft at the Kemmel Straight this time around, so it's not over yet.
Keep an eye on Blake Greenhall here. See if the draft down the Kemmel Straight would work for him.
A little bit too far back, unfortunately. So Josh got a good exit out of the source hairpin and had enough to have a bit of safety over Blake on this occasion. And I think through the twisty stuff, he's probably just going to drive away a little bit now.
Yeah, I think he's now just sort of realised where he can pick up pace compared to Blake Greenhall, but we'll see how that battle rages later on. Josh Thompson on our screens here, Team West Racing Mercedes AMG coming through turn 10, currently sitting P17. Had a good run recently over the last couple of weeks, did Josh? Definitely one to watch out for. and of course made the podium last week, so we got to talk to him. He was very excited. They've claimed the podium at Bathurst. I think why wouldn't you be? I mean, podium at Bathurst is something that is something that is on everyone's mind, no matter whether you're racing a GD, a supercar, a Toyota 86, whatever you're racing. If you can make the podium at Bathurst, I mean, that's a pretty cool feeling. Looking back at Alex Marriage, a little further up the road, sorry, is in 14th. Currently battling away with a couple of Mustangs. That's Priest in front and Shane Edgar behind. Speaking of Shane Edgar, beautiful Mustang there, giving a bit of the old gold and blue DJR vibes. It's giving me DJR colors right there. I love that color. Braden O'Loughlin, Frog Loop Juice Racing, McLaren MP16. And Josh Thompson now comes into the lane. Bit of a slide on entry for him back at Jaco Fenter now in P19, the Gamma Flare Sim Racing McLaren. See if he can make his way a bit further up. Currently getting chased down by Sid Benjamin. We'll go for a hot lap here inside the cockpit of Jaco Fenter through turn number 1. La Source down in towards turns 2 and 3. Here we go through Eau Rouge and Radion. This will give you a good view of what the driver sees. Oh, a little bit over that curb. Got to watch yourself with the curbs at this track, especially on iRacing. Jaco's defending hard from Sid Benjamin. He's going to hold the inside line. Can't move over too much while you're defending through turns 7 and 8. And now into 9. Just see how much Sid Benjamin is filling the camera, the rear view camera of the McLaren. Down into turn 10. And here we go now. Down to turn number 11. Now downhill you go, foot flat. Got to watch your speed now, coming to 12. Puon corner. Oh, look how close Sid Benjamin is there in the rear view camera. Jaco's keeping it cool, calm and collected. Now down into turns 13 and 14. Very tricky section this to get right. Under the Pirelli bridge down in towards Stavolt. Here we go. We'll go foot flat once again. It is a long, long lap around here. No matter what you drive. Coming up towards turn 17, Blanchemont. Very fast corner this. Does Jaco lift a little bit or does he go foot flat? Oh, foot flat. There we go. Still has the Porsche of Sid for company. Down into turn 19 and 20, the bus stop chicane. Flicks it right, flicks it left. And there you go. That is a lap on board with Jaco Fenter while he's still battling away with Sid Benjamin.
Just while we're on board with Sid there, Adam Hughes has come to pit lane to take the first of his compulsory stops. Coming out of P2 there to do that, so first of our battle for the lead to stop.
Also want to make note, I think Dylan Shepherd's also made his pit stop as well. So a couple of the OPR boys making their stops known. You can see there on the left hand side of your screen on the timing tower. The how many laps how many laps they've done so far, and then that's how long they're in the lane. You can see they're 2 minutes for Jensen Bade. That would have probably been to repair some damage. So far, the quickest stop looks to be Aaron Goodrick at a 32.8. Just out ahead of Darren Lobb at a 33.2. So Shane, I've got to ask you, I mean, you know, in your experience racing in sort of these sorts of races, I mean, you know, what would be the best strategy to sort of make for a 55-minute race? I mean, you're limited on fuel. You have to change at least one tire to make it compulsory. But how do you manage, you know, a race like this with the limited amount of fuel you have?
Yeah, it's tricky. It's actually 2 tyres this season for a CPS. So that makes it even trickier because I always used to just with the 1 tyre rule last season just do the unloaded front tyre, and that means you're affecting your balance the least. But if you're doing two, you either do one side or one end, and then that's making a big change to your balance. But as far as the fuel strategy, it's a tricky one. I'm a believer in the GT3 cars because the tyres tend to hold on pretty well, that your best bet is to go as long as you can and run the car as light as possible through the race. The tricky thing with that is getting caught up in traffic, and that's where we do tend to see some earlier pit stops as guys looking to get some fresh air. That is absolutely invaluable if you've got cars in front of you that are maybe holding you up, or even just affecting the air coming over your car, and that downforce, that aero grip, makes a big difference. So being able to get into some fresh air and do laps at your own pace is hugely valuable. So a lot of different considerations when it comes to setting the strategy. If you're out running by yourself anyway, the optimum way is to pretty much run the tank dry, get in, fuel it up, change a couple of tyres, and then do the same thing again, or potentially just pit at the 10 minute to go mark just before the pit window closes.
Yeah, unfortunately, we saw a couple of drivers last week during the 55-minute enduro race of Bathurst, unfortunately not get into the pit lane in time, and unfortunately were penalised post-race. Looking back at Shane Egan now, he's made a move on Alex. Marriage at the moment ahead of the other Mustangs, so up to P11 for Shane Edgar. Josh Thompson. Look at the replay here as to how this has happened. So round the outside, holds his line, and gets it done under brakes through that tricky section of the course. Has made that one stick, so well done. Shane Edgar makes that move up to P11. Alex tried to get that one back, but unfortunately that did not happen. You can see a live picture there in the bottom there, picture-in-picture. New little feature for the broadcasting lounge. Looking at our front runners there. Back to the live pictures. So Alex Sprague's now coming to the pit lane to make his stop. So that leaves Connor Franson out in first. 11 seconds now. He is cleared of Sebastian Bade.
Yeah, of course, Connor out there in the front, fresh air all over his car. He's out there doing what I talked about, just getting that fresh air and able to do that while running the car as light as possible, run the fuel right down. It's dealing with a bit of lap traffic, but of course they'll be getting blue flags, and the expectation is that once he's... that was not... Well, Josh, I think that was Josh. He was trying to do the right thing, but yeah, just kind of trying to go to the inside already, and Josh trying to jump across off the racing line, and both cars going the same way and tangling a little bit there. So that's really Connor's only obstacle at the moment, is navigating the lap cars, and that's where he's going to lose a little bit of time. But at the moment, he's now got a nice amount of clear air in front of him by the look of it, so he should be able to put some good lap times in for a while now.
Yeah, certainly would, of course. Looking for a bit of same piece of real estate there, unfortunately, and didn't pan out. So Miles Burgess now also looking in front of him at Sebastian Bade, who's also flashing the headlights. Got a couple of lapped cars in front of him. Almost had a bit of a lose there coming out of the corner for Sebastian. He's got one of the Porsches in front of him. Not too sure who that is. You just see how close Sebastian is now. Oh, look at him, he's getting a little bit frustrated now. There you go. Moving out of the way. That is the number 12 Porsche there.
I was just going to say,
Oh!
I was just going to say there's a fair amount of lap traffic there, and if I was Sebastian, I'd probably think about getting into the lane to get away from that traffic. Unfortunately, he's just been held up by a lap car right in front of him as well.
just see who that is that's come to the lane. That's Tony Nicholas, who's just come in, and that was Aaron Timperley they were trying to get past there as well, was the number 12 Porsche. So Connor Franson still leads this one. I think he's listening to the live stream right now. Shane, he might be taking your advice. Might be trying to run that tank down to the end if he can. Remember, he's still going to make one more other pit stop in this one. So 23 minutes down, 11 laps in. Sean McNamara second, 16 seconds cleared down, and then closest to Sean is Kyle Bork in third.
I would say it is a wise man that takes my advice, but Sean looks to be doing the same thing as well.
I think we might be wrong there. I think we might be wrong there, Shane. I think if Sean's taking your advice, it might be a bit wrong.
Yeah, it's certainly making me doubt myself here. So I don't know. We'll see how it pans out, I guess.
We certainly will. We'll see if Sean gets a podium for this one. He better credit you when he has to thank people. I think he better credit you for helping him out in this one.
I won't.
Looking back at Kyle Bork now, yeah, probably want to take all the credit for himself. Back at Kyle Bork now in the Ferrari. Looking back here, he's looking up towards Sean McNamara, not looking too much of a fight. Might be looking just to sit him behind Sean and maybe follow him through and see what he does. Best of our stops at the moment is Adam Hughes, who's down in 7th place at the moment. A fair bit of a gap towards up towards Connor Franson, currently 43 seconds. And as we say that, Connor's now coming to the pit lane. So Connor now making his stops. Miles Burgess has a mechanical meatball flag. So unfortunately, he's had a bit of a moment somewhere. So in comes Connor Franson now into the lane. McNamara stops. Kyle Bork has stopped. There's Josh Holmes. Does Blake Greenhall and Shane Edgar make their way in? Blake does. So looking back at a replay now for Miles Burgess to see what was the reason for that mechanical for his car. He's battling away here with, I believe that's Darren Lobb. Oh, bit of a touch.
Oh, it's hard into the tires.
That's side on into the tires. So that is why Miles has the mechanical black flag next to his name, and that is gonna sting for Miles Burgess. No doubt would have called that in.
On the live pictures, Adam Hughes has jumped Connor Franson, so Connor, well, that proves that's why Sean was following my advice, because it was no good. It hasn't worked for Connor. I guess just getting held up in that lap traffic has allowed Adam Hughes with a bit of a clearer run to put in some fast lap times and take over the lead. Of course, potentially, or probably actually adding less fuel at this stage as well. That has to be noted. So Connor will likely have a shorter second stop.
Yeah, certainly will. So we're looking forward to seeing. We're just going to see how that plays out at the conclusion of this one. So 26 minutes down, or closing in on 27 minutes down in this one. Looking back at Ryan Jones in P5 at the moment, trying to chase down Alex Sprague in P4. So currently it's an OPR 1 and 3 with Adam Hughes in first and Shepard in third. Connor Franson sitting just in between them in second. Looking a bit further up and down the field, Darren Lobb back up to 8th at the moment. So he's gone back to where he started after having that moment at the start of the race. So good on him for that one. Fastest lap so far of this one, Connor Franson, 2 minutes 15.231. Pretty quick lap time there. Looking at this battle here for Darren Lobb on the rear of Sebastian.
Sue Bell has just been issued a drive-through penalty for an incident there. Didn't quite catch who the incident was with, but Race Control have also warned Steve that he's got a poor internet connection at the moment. So potentially Steve needs to get the kids off the Wi-Fi, tell them to turn their Wi-Fi on their phones off, stop streaming Netflix on the TV, and let Dad race.
All right, so I think there's been a bit of a bit of a situation here. So looking back at Steve Valla here, the Phoenix Racing Team Porsche. Let's see what's happened to him. And it looks as though, okay. Excuse me. So we've got one of the OPR Mustangs.
So that's Miles Burgess recovering from that crash we had earlier seen, and
Oh no! Look how it's bounced around everywhere.
It's not the first time that pit lane has been jammed in a SuperCars NZ race, but last time it was under safety car and there were a bunch of cars piling in, and I think it was Rob Carwood spun on the way into the lane, and everybody that was coming in got held up behind. I saw all the chaos and decided I was going to stay out.
Would have been a smart move there. Maybe go in the next lane, maybe the next lap in, maybe see what happens after that. Looking back here, back to our live pictures now. Darren Lobb still looking for a way past Sebastian Bade. And Miles Burgess is now back out onto the track, so he's fixed up that car of his. Jesse Simpson now back into the lane. Looks like might be taking that second pit stop. So nearly 30 minutes down in this one, 25 to go.
Yet to see a safety car as well. I haven't heard anyone request a tow, so we've seen some incidents, but so far everything that we have seen, everybody's been able to get back to the lane. Interesting as well, seeing Darren Lobb still running in P8 there, so despite that incident we saw where he lost the wing, not doing too badly, although his only pit stop so far came on lap 2 to fix that wing, so that would have been outside of the pit window, and he's still going to have to make a couple of pit stops on this one.
That's right, actually, I didn't even think of that one, so you're right, so made that pit stop, unfortunately, whilst making the damage repair, so he'll have to come in another 2 more times. That's going to hurt his race a little bit. Looking back at Connor Franson now in P2. Adam Hughes has built up a bit of a gap, 3.4 seconds now between the two Mustangs, and there's the third of the Mustangs there in P3 OPR. Gamma Flare Dylan Shepherd ran the Porsche last season. He's back this season now in the Mustang. Followed by Alex Sprague in the Lamborghini in P4. Coming down the Kimmel Straight now. So Darren Lobb now, as we mentioned now, we've just said he had to make that pit stop. The first of his compulsory pit stop, he has done that now. Oh, few dust getting kicked up there. Ryan Jones going through it. So has anyone stood out for you? Oh, bit wide there coming out of turn 9. Anyone stand out for you in this one, Shane? I mean, we've had quite a few incidents, but has anyone stood out for you in this one?
Well, Dylan Shepherd doing a great job sitting in P3 at the moment. He's come up 4 spots to be in that position. I think he's going to be one to watch. I think there's a lot to play out in the battle for the lead. I know there's a few seconds between Adam Hughes and Connor Franson at the moment, but there's also about 5 seconds difference in their first pit stop time. So I'm expecting Connor to get a bit of time back in the second stop, and that'll close up. And I think Dylan Shepherd could be in a prime position to take advantage if those two get caught up battling and lose a bunch of time, or even potentially knock each other off the track.
Yeah, should be here. But look at this stuff on the inside here. We've a huge battle here. Jensen Bate up the inside of the 031 BMW. That's Jed Adams. Oh, that is close.
And Blake Greenhill sitting in behind, looking to pick up the scraps from this battle.
He certainly is. You can just see you can just make out a red Ferrari there in the background. Looking for some moves on this one. So a bit of a Ferrari sandwich at the moment. Jed finds himself in. Here we go. We'll go on board here with Blake Greenhall.
Right under that rear wing. He's going to be losing some downforce through Blanchimont, and I think just a little bit of a lift and losing that ground to Jed Adams there.
If he gets a good run out of the chicane, if he can get a good run out of here, maybe out of turn number 1, that being LaSource, he might be able to make something stick.
Looked like he might have just overcommitted to the final chicane there. He just didn't get a great exit, and Judah's been able to open up a bit more of a gap again. Bruce Wakefield and Dylan Shepherd have made their second stop, so a couple of OPR cars putting together, a bit of team strategy going on that one.
And that's brought Reese Wakefield behind Jaco by the looks of it.
Yeah, Reese has not managed to drop himself into clear air here. He's got a fair bit of traffic ahead of him. Although the cold tyre is going to take a while to get up to speed, and those guys will make a little bit of a gap, but you would expect that once he's got those tyres up to temperature, he's going to come back up to them and have to deal with that traffic.
Yeah, it's going to take a little while for those tyres to come up to scuff. But while Jaco has made a move past Braden O'Loughlin now and has built up that gap, Reese Wakefield's going to look for some moves now. I think those tyres might have slowly come up for him. He's got Shane Edgar for company right behind. So a few battles now happening up and down. We'll now have to keep an eye out on some stops. 10 minutes away, just over 10 minutes away from the pit window closing. So remember the
big one in the background. Reese Wakefield. Reese Wakefield has gone off at Puon.
What's happened to Reese?
He did make the tyres. His rear bumper's sitting in the sand there. Luckily, he's kept the wing on, so he might just get away with this.
Let's take a look, see what happened. Whoa, big lose. And into the back he goes, loses the boot. So
was there contact here? No, Shane Edgar's well back. Just gets loose in the big overcorrection.
A big lose, big overcorrection, unfortunately.
He's kept the rear wing on that car, but I saw it crumple up there, so it's damaged, and that will have an impact on the rear downforce. And you don't want to lose. You don't want to move the aero balance any further forward than where you've got it set on your setup here. If he does, look at how much he's struggling through there, just to keep it pointed in the right direction. And he's already made his second pit stop. So what do you do here? Do you take the punishment and take a third pit stop now, hope for a late safety car maybe to get you back in the game, or do you try and push on?
Oh, that's a tough call to make. I mean, if he thinks he can handle it going through like this for the rest of the race, I mean, we've still got a long, long way to go in this one. Oh, look how much he's fighting.
I wanted to see it through Blanchimont because I knew it was going to be a handful there, and he was fighting it all the way through.
Does he go into the pit lane? No, he does not. So he stays on the track trying to keep it through. Oh, it looks like he might have had a bit
been off again though, at Eau Rouge by the look of it.
Yeah, it looks like he has gone off. He's still slow. Yeah, he's trying to crawl and get some points. He's going to have to go into the pit lane, and I would get that repaired.
He's done more damage too. I think he's slapped the tyres on the right-hand side there.
Yeah, look at that. Yeah, he's just not been able to drive that car anymore.
He's parking it up at the sandy.
Oh,
that's a strategic safety car to help his teammate get home on fuel here.
Oh, team orders.
Credit to Wayne. Credit to producer Wayne on that one. If OPR want to sue anyone for defamation.
Oh, that's going to be a big one for anyone. So Wayne, I think you've got him. I'll start pack your bags and start making a run for it, mate. Because I think you're going to be in trouble here because you called that. So Adam Hughes leading.
Sean McNamara has just called something into race control, so he's potentially had a drama somewhere.
Is he calling for blocking maybe? All right, here we go. So Sean McNamara battling away. Oh, touch.
Oh.
Touch up with one of the Ferraris. I think that was Ryan Jones potentially, or maybe even Kyle Borg. Not too sure who that would have been. But that was a bit of a tangle up for Sean McNamara. Dylan Shepherd now on the flashes. Trying to get Ryan Jones out the way. This is a battle for position.
Yes.
This isn't a lapped car up ahead of him. This is a battle for position.
Yeah, so the pit early for the second stop strategy and try and get some clear air tactic hasn't worked because, as you say, it is for position. No blue flags. Nobody needs to get out of the way, and he is fighting that hard. I'm not sure I would have fought it that hard in that situation, but he's
not in
perfectly
that section
entitled
of
to.
road. Not in that section of road. I wouldn't have done that. Dylan Shepherd has made it work. But now Ryan Jones will have Matt Priest for company as well. So while he gets dispatched by one Mustang, he's going to have another one up his tail in a couple of seconds. But yeah, that was a brave move by Dylan Shepherd around the outside there at the Lecom corner. Matt Priest looking for a move. He's going to go around the outside. He goes a little off track. Oh, Ryan is defending hard. Matt Priest still looking for a move pass.
Oh, Darren Lobb has just been issued a drive-through penalty for avoidable contact in an incident with Miles Burgess.
Oh, no. Oh, that is a shame for Darren Lobb. He's already made one pit stop. He's now going to get a drive-through and still has to serve that second stop. So unfortunately, goes from bad to worse for Darren as Josh Holmes comes into the pit lane to complete stop number 2.
5 minutes left until the pit window closes as well, and at a 2-minute lap, they can really only come around a couple more times before they're going to run out of time on that one. So people need to be keeping an eye on that and be careful not to go too far.
Yeah, that's one thing to keep an eye out for. So we'll just keep an eye on the timing tower on the left there, folks, because this one's about to get spicy now. Looking back at Sean McNamara in a battle with Dylan Shepherd. Oh, he's right up the rear bumper now. Dylan's going to pull out and look for a move on the inside. Gets it done. So Dylan Shepherd makes it work. He's now up to P9. He's taken both his pit stops. He's the first person to do it. Oh, sorry, Jensen Bade's actually in 6th place. I'm not too sure if one of his stops were maybe for some damage before the window opened.
Yeah, I think that may be the case.
If that is the case, then Dylan Shepherd's done well to make his 2 stops.
So Kyle Bork was the Ferrari that we saw in that incident with Sean McNamara, and I know that because he's just been given a drive-through penalty for it.
Okay, so he's been given a slap on the wrist for that one. Hughes is in the lane. Sprague's in the lane. So who else may follow through? Okay, so looking back at a replay here, take a look.
Yeah, we have seen this incident.
And there you go. So that is why Kyle Bork's been handed the drive-through penalty.
Looked like he did try to redress, but unfortunately just too much damage done to Sean's race there to be able to do so. So the bulk of those leaders coming into the pits now. Connor Franson has gone on with it.
Now, Kyle Bork, can he serve that black flag while in the lane? Will they add a time penalty for it maybe? Or would he have to go all the way around and come in for the drive-through? Let's see. Is black flag still to his name? So it looks as though the drive-through is still...
Yeah, I think he'll have to still come around and serve that drive-through on top of his pit stop. So
Alright, so
can't
that's
be
gonna...
added to the pit stop time.
Oh, he's done his pit stop line.
Yeah, it's just on his pit
Yeah.
stop. So that was a pit stop there, and he needs to needs to still come in and serve that drive-through penalty.
All right, so Adam Hughes, 34 seconds. Oh, Kyle Borks just needed to try and get out the way there. So Adam Hughes, 34 seconds is the gap to Connor Franson. Connor Franson needs to make the pit stop now.
Yeah,
If
just
you
gone
want
under
to-
2 minutes to go, so anybody that hasn't made their second stop needs to do it the next time they come past pit lane. And they have to be in pit lane. As long as they're in pit lane once it ticks over 45 minutes, they're okay. If they're not, then they're going to take a penalty.
All right, so this will be the one now. Where's Connor at the moment? Oh no, he's gone past.
Oh, he has gone past. And he's only got 15 seconds left. A minute 15, sorry, but that's not enough time.
That's not enough time. Oh, he might get pinged for that. He hasn't come in. So
Blake Greenhill's the next car with a stop still to make, so he definitely needs to do it this lap. He's got less than a minute until that window closes.
If he can get in just in time, he should be all right to make that stop. Here we go. Through the chicane. There you go.
Yeah, Blake gets into the lane.
So Blake gets the line.
Oh, Sean's gone on with it. This isn't the first
no.
time he's done this either. He's missed the window.
So our esteemed admin has not listened to his own rules. What are you doing, Shane? Oh, sorry, Sean. Sorry,
Go and read the rule book, Sean. What are you doing?
He's the one that made the rules. I'm surprised he hasn't followed them. Oh, mate.
So it looks like a couple of guys, Connor Franson and Sean McNamara, are going to be taking penalties for not following the race procedure here.
That's gonna hurt a few of the guys in this one.
Josh Holmes up 12 spots to sit in 8th position at the moment, so good run for him. He has made his 2 pit stops. And he's probably going to get a couple more positions as well when Connor and Sean take their penalties for missing the pit window there.
Oh, that's gonna be a bit of a Shanika as well. So looking at our leaderboard, that's Connor Franson, Sean McNamara, or the only two to make one stop. Here comes Connor Franson now, but it's a little too late. It's 1 minute too late.
I was about to say too, do these guys recognise that they've already missed it? And if you do, surely you just push on knowing that you're getting a penalty either way. But Connor's come in and he's going to take the pit stop and then he's still going to have to pay a penalty because it's too late.
Yeah, that's gonna hurt him big time in this one. Looking back at Sean McNamara, is he just going to continue on with this one, or will he come in and grab obviously that pit stop? But that's obviously going to hurt him as well.
Well, I can tell you, if Sean wasn't aware of it, he will be now, because Adam Hughes has just raised with race control the fact that Connor didn't complete his pit stop, and Sean's going to go up. So I think Sean's going to do what I was thinking and just go to the end now and take the penalty at the end.
So a few naughty people out there once again. So Adam Hughes, yellow flag for Connor Franson. He's had a bit of an off somewhere, has he, or has he? Or something not right there. The gap between him and Adam Hughes is closing dramatically. I'm not sure what happened with Connor Franson there. But there's Adam Hughes just in the shot there, in the back of shot. So I don't know if Connor's maybe had a bit of a moment coming out of the lane on those quad tyres. Some short pit stop times there, 43 seconds for Blake Greenhall, 44.3 for Connor, 49.4 for Adam Hughes. So Hughes now running away with this one in behind Connor Franson, but just keep in mind there's still that penalty looming over Connor's head in this one. 48 minutes down, 21 laps completed. Here's Alex Sprague running a lonely race in third. That Lamborghini is all on his own. So some big gaps you can see there on the left-hand side of the timing tower. In this one, Shane. I mean, this has got to be a very interesting race here. But I mean, Connor Franson and Sean McNamara, you'd think they would have they would have known about the timer. 45 minutes is when the lane closes.
Yeah, well, I'd certainly think Sean would be aware of that. You would hope everyone would be aware. It was laid out in the race briefing, so I wonder if they weren't paying close enough attention to the race time in there, and they kept driving around, and missed the fact that they needed to be getting into the lane.
Yeah, it definitely would be. So, looking back at Vota Blutta coming up towards Shane Edgar, this is for P15. In this one, a few more battles happening up and down the grid at this stage. Or both of them running a bit wide now. We'll see if Vota can...
Sean is in the pits now, so he is now taking his second stop, and he's still going to have to take a penalty for missing the window as well.
All right, so it looks as though Sean is now listened, but it's a little too late, unfortunately, mate. Come back at Robert Henry in the Mercedes. Looking up ahead at Sid Benjafer at the moment. That's Alex Marriage in front of them in the Mustang. So three completely different cars here going at it. And this is for position P16 on the road. 5 minutes left in this one.
Yeah, not long at all to go now. Looks like it's going to be Adam Hughes, pretty comfortable for the win in the end. Obviously kind of leading at the moment, but we are expecting him to have to pay some sort of penalty. Not entirely sure what that's going to be. There was some discussion from race control as to what the fair penalty is for a driver not completing CPS within the window. I know if they don't complete it at all, it's been a decal in the past, but I think that's probably why Sean did eventually come in and make the second stop, because potentially it could be a lesser penalty, maybe just a drive-through or equivalent time penalty, if you have at least made it out of the window.
Yeah, certainly would be. So we'll see what kind of penalty Connor gets. And so does Sean get as well. So there's quite a few penalties to hand out. We'll see what race control says about that. Going to the replay here now and see how Robert Henry managed to get past the Porsche of Sid Benjafer. Still battling away with Alex. Whoa, a bit wide there for Sid.
Oh,
That's opened the door.
and that's all it takes sometimes, just a little mistake, runs the left-hand wheels through the gravel and down the grass, and just cost them enough momentum for Robert to get through there.
Yeah, that's really all it takes, isn't it? One little mistake from the car up ahead and you can get in there. That's how close the racing can be in the sim world, but also in the real world. So back to our live pictures here. Robert Henry still looking for a move past Alex in the Mustang. 52.5 minutes down in this one. Probably going to get a couple more laps in this one. Looking back at Darren Lobb in P20. Got a replay here. Josh Thompson now. Oh, that's a bit of a fight. Bit of a drag race here down towards the chicane. a good night for Darren there, unfortunately. Pushing, I think it was Thompson out the way there, so bit of a shame for Mr.
Yeah,
Thompson.
I think looking at that one, we could potentially see another penalty coming for Darren there, although I'd say it's going to be investigated post-race because obviously very close to the end now. So, in fact, we're getting the white flag there. I've just seen it on my screen out of the corner of the shot, so we do have white flag. Connor Franson leading the way at the moment, but he is most likely going to take a penalty for not pitting within the pit window there.
So that'll be a bit of a shame for Connor. He ran really well in this race, but unfortunately just getting caught out a little bit there. Looking back towards Adam Hughes. I think that's Miles Burgess. He has for company behind him. Miles Burgess is not really a factor in the podium results. Back at Alex Sprague now. Currently P3 will take potentially a P2 in this one. Again, more results for Alex Sprague. And that will certainly help out his championship campaign where he currently leads. Looking back at a replay here now for Vota Buerta and Shane Edgar. Battle into the chicane. Is there more? Oh. Okay, so almost a spin. He's decided to stop and let him gather it back up. So good on Vota for that one.
Yeah, good recovery from Shane as well.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant stuff. So looking back now at Connor Franson has the Corvette in front of him. That is, I think that's Rudolph Jenkins right in front of him. So Connor will be flashing the headlights, telling him to get out of the way. 1.3 seconds is the gap at the moment between our top two. So Connor will come across the line through the chicane now. Stuck behind the Corvette. So Connor Franson will come across the line. Oh, bit of a slide out there. Will take the win, but it won't matter. He'll get a post-race penalty for not serving both pit stops in time, which means Adam Hughes will come across the line in P1. And a good 12 seconds behind that is Alex Sprague for P2 in the Lamborghini, followed by Dylan Shepherd in third. Ryan Jones comes home in fourth place, fifth on the leaderboard, but fourth overall, and Sebastian Bates sixth. We're not going to try and predetermine too much on the positions. Not too sure what kind of penalty Connor would receive in that one.
I have just heard confirmation coming through from race control. It's a disqualification for both Connor and Sean for missing that pit window there.
Okay, so we can look at our results properly now. Kyle Bork comes across the line in P9, Matt Priest for P10. So we'll quickly round off the results for you. Adam Hughes, Alex Sprague, Dylan Shepherd, Ryan Jones, Sebastian Bade, Jensen Bade, Josh Holmes, Blake Greenhall, Kyle Bork, and Matt Priest are your top 10. Yoko Fences just come across the line for 11th with Jet Adams, Shane Edgar, and Vota Buerta. Nice drag race there across the line for P13 and 14. Robert Henry, Sid Benjafer, and Alex Marriage has come across the line as well. Darren Lobb, Braden O'Loughlin, Josh Thompson, Matthew Gerard, all coming across the line to finish that one. Man, what a race that was, and what a way to end it.
Yeah, massive drama with the pit windows being missed there, and plenty of action all the way through. What a race. Spa always puts on a good one, and tonight has been no exception.
Oh, certainly has not. We'll grab our third place getter for this one, Dylan Shepherd. We'll grab him into the lounge, and we will get him in and have a word with the man who finished third in that one, representing OPR. All right. Well, Dylan Shepherd, welcome to the Broadcast Announce post-race interviews. Third place for you, mate. Not a bad result. How's that?
Yeah, really fun race. Took a bit of an alternative strategy to some of the other boys. I think it paid off with the way the tyres came on, and yeah, pretty happy to bring home a podium.
It certainly did. Now, third place is what you get for this one. So 55 minutes was obviously a long race for you. How did you find that? Like nice and challenging. What was it like driving the Mustang around Spa?
Yeah, look, the car was very hooked up. Adam Hughes had been doing a lot of development throughout the week in the official stuff, so yeah, bolted on a pretty good car. It was easy to push hard, and yeah, it was comfortable the whole hour. Yeah, pulled off the strategy and managed to bring home the OPR Gamma Flare Mustang on the podium.
Absolutely awesome stuff. Well, I mean, anyone you want to thank before we let you go for the night, Dylan?
Mainly Gamma Flare Sim Racing for all their support. SuperCars NZ for putting on such a fantastic series. The Broadcasting Lounge for putting on such an awesome broadcast.
No, awesome stuff, mate. Well, we'll let you go for the night. We'll see you next week for the next one.
I'll be away next week, but yeah, I'll be watching.
All right, no worries, mate. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah.
So, I'll grab Alex Sprague in for this one. P2 for tonight's results. Shane, take it away.
Alex, coming home P2, good result in the end there. How are you feeling about that one?
Yeah, pretty happy. Obviously, just tried to manage the race nicely and try to bring home some good points. Qualifying went well, getting P2 on the front row, but just got boxed out a wee bit into turn 1, which got me back to P4, which sort of dropped me off the front two a bit, but just managed the race, tried to be consistent, and yeah, brought it home.
You were the only one out there in a Lambo tonight, and obviously it worked well for you. How did you find that car around this track?
Not too bad. haven't done much testing before tonight, to be honest. My first lap in it was in official practice, but it felt okay. It was like ingenuine. It was like a good car. It was a safe car. I didn't feel like I was going to like spin out or anything, but just didn't quite have the top end speed or the overall pace of those Mustangs in front.
You certainly did a good job to get onto the podium and picking up P2 with the disqualifications there for the pit windows there. Do you have anyone you want to shout out tonight?
Yeah, just big thanks to everyone at Automoves Racing Team, Apex Lab, Sim Blacks, Edge Overlays, Sim Rap Market, Sim Magic, Pat Skeet Designs, and Jordan for everything he does for the team.
Awesome stuff. Well, congratulations again, and we will see you next week.
Thank you. Cheers.
Then we grab our race winner. Pretty sure you'd be happy about that one. Adam Hughes, welcome to the winner's circle, mate.
Cheers. Yeah, thank you very much, fellas. Muchly appreciated.
Absolutely stoked. You must be stoked with that result. But how were you when you heard that Connor Franson missed making that pit window and unfortunately getting the DQ from the race?
I think I pitted with 2.5, 3 minutes to go or something like that either side, and I realised he'd sort of gone past the pit lane. He had about, I think it was like 10 minutes and 30 seconds on the clock, and he must have been coming through pull on. I thought, oh, okay, he's obviously going to miss the window of opportunity, but he probably, to be honest, should have won. He definitely had pace. I sort of didn't really put any time or effort in this week, just with work and life, so he probably should have won tonight, so I got lucky. So I'll only eat my humble pie, so to speak.
Well, certainly, it was a very tough race tonight, and of course, there is just so much happening. But anyone you want to is there any sort of like things that you guys did differently? We heard from your teammate Dylan Shepherd that that you guys were running different strategies tonight. So did that sort of work in your favor as well? With how this went, if Connor didn't get that DQ?
I was betting on a safety car, and I was betting on people taking left-hand side tyres or right-hand side tyres and sort of maybe having a moment going across Eau Rouge, whether it be going up the hill or sort of going down the crest before you go up. And I was basically banking on that. I think most of us were, and obviously a safety car never sort of really reared its head, which I was really surprised about. So it was good to do a race without a safety car, but it sort of made it a bit boring, I guess, in terms of strategy. I think if you pitted before the safety car would have paid off, but especially around this place, it's so damn long. But No, it wasn't meant to be, unfortunately.
Unfortunately, you can't win them all, mate. But I mean, look, of course, when you hope for something like this, you know, when you pray for a safety car, sometimes they never happen, and unfortunately, it is what it is.
Yeah, 100% agreed. Yeah, it's one of those things. Either one comes out really early on, or you don't get one at all.
Yeah, unfortunately not. But I mean, look, it's still a good result for you in the end, and a good result for the team. I mean, the first and the third, not a bad result. So you guys seem to be having these Mustangs pointing in the right direction and on rail. So good job.
Yeah, cheers, appreciate it. Hopefully, the win tonight will make up for last week's absolute shocker I had at Bathurst. So hopefully they'll keep me on the payroll books on ship side of things. Hopefully, with a bit of luck.
No worries, mate. Well, you certainly know how to handle the Mustang. And I mean, look, you've you know, we heard from Shep tonight. You've been helping out quite a bit. Anyone you want to thank before we let you go for the night?
Yeah, just obviously to massive shout out to all the boys at OPR, and obviously to Stefan and Dylan, and shout out to Paul Race. He sort of got caught up in a bit of crap, I think, early on in the piece, so he probably should have been in the top 5, I reckon. But obviously, unfortunate to him. Excuse me. Just want to thank obviously Motec for coming on board as a technical partnership. Gamma Flare Sim Racing, obviously very well known to you fellas for being on the car and the team. Simrigs.com. Melbourne Performance Centre, Night Rider Designs, obviously to you fellas that do the broadcast, and to the other half that was watching tonight's race.
Awesome stuff, mate. We can't do it without our sponsors. We can't do it without the supportive family. Whoop. So thank you to Adam Hughes there for joining us in that one. Well, Shane, that wraps up our racing for tonight. Spa-Francorchamps, the Enduro, is done and dusted.
Yeah, it sure is. And Adam there pointing out, rightly so, that the safety car didn't make an appearance tonight, and it's been a very quiet week for our safety car drivers because it didn't make an appearance on Tuesday night on the V8s either. So good, clean racing, and the incidents that we have seen we've seen people able to drag it back to the pits. I think we did have one tow on Tuesday, but race control deemed that they were too busy looking at incidents at the time to put a safety car out at that moment. So yeah, quiet one for safety cars, and plenty of exciting racing on track.
Well, I think our safety car drivers can now. I think we might have to dock some of their pay because they weren't really being used this week. Well, folks, that is it from us here for round 4 of the SuperCars NZ GT3 Winter Series. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you next week as we go back to more exciting racing. We will be sure to check out the Sim Racing Hub for all the details and also keep up with the results. From Shane, it was Shane White and myself, Brandon Stark. Wayne Bloor is our producer. We'll see you next time.